Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and it's that time of year. It's a Wineglass. I like that it's Wineglass race series now.
Yes.
Not just the marathon. We can't just talk about that. You have so much going on. Thank you for taking time, by the way.
Thank you.
For being
Thanks
on the
for
show.
having me.
How's the planning going? It's too late now, right?
Great. There's always last minute stuff, but
Sure.
there's a great team that we have, a safety team that's been working year round, and we do every year planning stuff, and it saves us when we have things like the weather changing at the last minute.
I'm so glad we could talk about that, and we will in just a second,
Yeah.
but I have to get your opinion on this. So we had Sheriff Allard. He was on talking about it just the other day, and I asked him, does it get easier after doing it all these years? He thinks it has gotten easier.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. Because I think everybody knows we're really, somebody said it recently, we're a well-oiled machine, and
Yeah.
that truly is. A lot of the same people have been involved. They understand the importance, and will put the time and energy into it. And so, I think we all kind of know what each other's thinking too.
Right.
So, or
You don't have to have as many meetings as you might have had to 10 years ago. So what do the numbers look like this year? Is it a success as always?
Yeah, and in fact, we're up. So we have over
That's wonderful.
3,000 for the half, which is, we haven't hit 3,000 since well before COVID.
That's
and
amazing.
over 2,700. And I'm not sure we've ever hit 2,700 for the full marathon.
Wow.
So right now, with that and those two and the 5K, we're looking at 6,700.
And that's what I like, and we talked about with the sheriff. Yes, some of them, a good portion of them are local, but a lot of that people come from out of town.
They are.
Bringing in, you can notice on Market Street, you do. I see the same people almost every day, and all of a sudden, I don't recognize this person, that person. It brings so many people, so much tourism money, just great PR for our area.
We had people stopping in our office last week from out of town.
Yeah.
So that's at least a whole week that they're in the area.
It is kind of interesting because we got the Wineglass race, but also reminds me a little bit of the feeling around the NASCAR race.
Yes.
When you see so many people coming into town, you see the hotels are booked up, the restaurants are full, and that's a great thing to have for our area.
It's awesome. Yeah, we have 48 states and 17 countries this year, and some countries we haven't had before, like Ireland and Norway. So
Wow.
there's,
That's
it's always fun to see where they're coming from.
Yeah, I would think so. And when do the festivities begin? Because you normally have when they get their bibs and all that. When does that start?
Tomorrow morning at 11.
Okay.
We actually are currently setting up the expo with all the vendors and everything right now, and getting the bibs and stuff set over at the museum.
Wow. All right. So I got you really at a busy time. But you had mentioned it. You alluded to it. Let's talk about the heat. We're not used to this.
No, we're not. I guess the good news is it hasn't changed.
Right.
We kind of went from summer, and it has been steady and stayed. Right.
Yeah.
We haven't
Right.
had, a couple lows at night, but nothing really in the daytime that's really changed. No humidity. It's supposed to, by 3 or 4, hit 80, 82, which is the peak. And the runners should be finished by then. They'll start around 47 degrees to 50 degrees.
Okay.
The half will definitely start in the fog. The full... the elevation difference will probably start in full sun. They did the last 2 years where we saw a difference at the half. So the half runners may, a lot of them even finish while it's still foggy.
Still foggy and a little
Yeah.
chilly.
Yeah.
But like you said, they've been preparing and training in this exact, most likely, depending on where they come from, but most likely the same kind of weather. So it's better than coming from extreme hot to getting out there in some of the years that we've had where it's freezing cold out there.
Yes. But we've put extra measures in place. We've got extra water and hydration on the course. The Cooper's Plains and Painted Post fire departments have really stepped up. They both are putting out misters.
Okay.
So, the runners can run under misters, and they're setting up cooling stations with cooling towels, or the place where they can get out. In the air conditioning, we've beefed up the med tents, the last two that are on the bike path, with extra ice and stuff. And then at the finish line, we always hand out the silver blankets, the heat sheets. At noon, we're going to cut those off, and we're going to switch over and hand out ice-soaked sponges to the runners, so they can kind of, you know, cool their faces and necks and stuff with that.
And you mentioned I'm so glad you mentioned the walking bridge, because we talk about how important it is to the community this weekend and even a little bit last weekend, but it's really a year-round thing that you're thinking about the community.
Yes.
And I saw the announcement, and only because of my time on the town council in Irwin, that we had heard about the bridge needing repair, and I wasn't familiar with it. So you decided, you know what, let's donate with the money that you make. Let's donate. That's wonderful. $50,000.
Yes, 50,000. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Right? We years ago, when the bike path needed widening and repaired, we donated for that too. You know, the runners train on it year round, but the communities all use it year round, and it bridges one community to the next, multiple communities. It's really important, and so we felt it's not just about the race; it's about the community and making sure that.
Yeah, and you had mentioned earlier, you were talking about headquarters. You got a new location.
We do.
How do you like it?
We love it.
Yeah,
we love it.
It's so nice to be visible. Excuse me, at storefront right on Market Street.
Yes.
How appropriate.
Yes, very. We've had lots of visitors, and people are welcome to stop in. We have old merchandise for sale, but you know, questions. There's usually somebody in there, and
and it looks. I think it looks great there.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really happy with it, and actually, right now, you know, getting everything staged and handing out volunteer T-shirts and stuff has gone really smoothly in that spot. So.
Yeah, and it'll be a nice place after the race is over for people to take their photo in front of
Yes.
with you know what I mean?
Yes.
Just the visuals of it.
Yes.
So what do you think? We talked about the weather. We talked about pretty much all the information that we need to know. But what do you think is most important? Because we're the viewers, and we're probably going to be out there with our signs cheering people on. But what do the racers need to know before they head in?
So, you know, with the heat, obviously, we've been and we've sent messages to them too. They should have been hydrating earlier this week.
Yeah.
Carb loading is not just the night of. Sunscreen and hats and light colored clothes.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you have to adjust your time, you know, listen to your body and do that. But, you know, the fall trees are changing, and so it's going to be a lovely day when the sun, you know,
You look at
not a sky, like a cloud in the sky, and the green and yellows and reds against the blue sky is gorgeous.
It's
so
going to be
enjoy it.
You think about that from Bath to here, and here of course too. But how beautiful! You must get lost in your thoughts.
Yes,
of the beautiful view.
And driving around and checking signs, and if porta potties are set up and stuff, and you can't miss all the fall foliage and the beauty of our area.
I totally agree. What do you? I guess the community needs to know. You have on your website, I think on your website, road closures and things like that. So everybody, it's too long of a list. It doesn't affect too much, but at certain points and intervals.
Right.
So if you haven't been in the area, I guess for all the years the Wineglass has been going on, go online and find out what they need to know about that.
Correct.
Day. So,
correct.
Now, what do you think? When you look at the day ahead of you, you've done this enough times. What does your day look like?
It starts really early on Sunday. I'm up before 4, and I actually leave Painted Post to come to Corning, pick up my captains that go to the full start with me, and before 5 we're headed to Bath to make sure we're ready for when the first bus shows up.
Yeah.
And I have a wonderful crew that has been at the half for years, that they do the same thing. They get there a little earlier because the buses get there earlier, right? And an earlier start time. And we just welcome the runners and get them all set. And
then that's just the beginning of your day.
Yes.
That's when the fun begins, right?
It is.
But it is funny when you say that, because I remember one year we were going to broadcast the kickoff, like the grand, and so I got here early, of course, and you never see the street so crowded at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
There's so many people. There's so many cars. We couldn't find parking in the garage. I go, this is not a typical 4 o'clock in the morning on Corning, but it kind of shows you what you're doing.
The last couple of years, we actually are Market Street from Walnut to Cedar, and then Pine Street closes at 2 on Saturday. So we get a lot set up on Saturday, and that's in thanks to the high school lacrosse team. The boys come out and they're hauling stuff, and then they come back Sunday morning and finish it.
Good for them.
Like hauling apples from our office and other things like that to make it happen. And over on Tioga, the runners are getting on the buses, and we've got the girls soccer team and CPP high school administration who, they're used to buses, and, they've got a disco ball and music playing and, getting the runners all hyped and excited for their day.
Well, and doesn't that show you how much of a part of the community this is, where the teams are volunteering, and that's early for high school kids to get
It truly is a
anybody
community event,
It is.
and we couldn't do it without them. Start to finish. And I mentioned, Cooper's, Plains, and Painted Post fire departments, but we've got 7 volunteer fire departments that all come out en masse to help. They're EMS trained. They are, certified. They can work on the road, so they're directing traffic. We've got a high school team. We've got the Bath Academic All-Stars at the full start. We've got, Camp El Savona girls soccer team out. We've got Elmira College. It's...
Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody, because listen, when you volunteer, sometimes it's not the most exciting. This is a volunteer opportunity that is exciting.
It is. It's
You get
fun.
to have a fun time from beginning to end. Do you, let me ask 2 questions about volunteers. Do you still need volunteers?
We actually now have closed it
I
off.
would think
We're
it would be a
in
little too
great
late.
shape.
Oh, good. How many volunteers, ballpark, do you think it takes to have something like this run smoothly?
For the year, between the 8K and this weekend, we say close to 2,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have no problem getting it?
Yeah, no.
That's fantastic. Wow. Okay, so before we go, what do you recommend for runners preparing to hit the starting line? What words of encouragement would you give them?
Plan your clothing, plan your day, temper your expectations, and just go out and enjoy and, have fun with it. Meet a new runner, see where, it's all... When I ran marathons, that was always, I met
the fun of it.
1 to 3 new people. It was a great day, right? So they're coming from all over the country and world, and you never know, you may make a new friend along the way.
And you'll come back again next year and run with them again.
That's right. That's
What's your
right.
personal favorite part of the weekend?
I think just getting it off and seeing those runners finish, right? It's, it's exciting. It's fun to see the volunteers get into it, and it just, once I hit tomorrow morning, there's not much I can change.
Right.
So it just,
Just take it in, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So,
and I would recommend, if people haven't been down, if you're rooting for someone along the way, that's great. I absolutely do that. But there is something very special being at that finish line.
Oh, absolutely.
And on Market Street, whether it's staggered and it's after the finish line or whether it's before, the feeling there of the accomplishment from the runners, their family's so proud of them, their friends so proud of them, and you just taking it all in. I would highly recommend everybody make it out, even if they're not running.
Yeah, you can stay on Bridge Street in front of Wegmans, right? There's plenty of space on Market Street, but really getting to see, they've trained for months and months, right? So their accomplishments coming across. We have some really fast runners. Elite field, we have a male shooting for a 104 in the half marathon, which is insane, and a woman that's trying for 117, which is typically, so some really fast times between the full and the half.
That's amazing. Well, best of luck. I know you're real busy, so I'll let you go. Thanks for taking on a little time, and we'll talk again next year.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking.